We completed up to secondary growth. Now we will come to the last two chapters in first year, plant ecology and plant genetics. In these two chapters, you will definitely get 3 to 4 bits. We all know ecology is, oikos means home, ology is study of. Ecology is the study of living and non-living things living together. A close inseparable relationship between abiotic and biotic components is ecology. The term ecology was coined by Rater. A perfect definition for ecology was given by Haeckel. Later, Odum and Warming, many people conducted extensive research works and proposed several concepts. Ecology is the study of plants and relationship with environment, animals in relationship with environment. Ecology is divided into plant ecology and animal ecology. In plant ecology, we discuss different concepts, organizations like population, community, ecosystem, biosphere and other concepts. Then we discuss about plant communities, that is hydrophytes. Plant communities are classified into 3 categories based on their relationship with water by warming. Hydrophytes growing in water, xerophytes growing in arid conditions, mesophyte in intermediate climatic conditions. In hydrophytes, we discuss classification. In xerophytes, we discuss classification. In hydrophytes and xerophytes, we discuss morphological and anatomical adaptations. That is the chapter of ecology. In this ecology, we come to several concepts by discussing some important bits regarding this chapter. The first one. Choose the correct statement from the following. In Eichhornia, root modification is absent. It is not correct. It is incorrect because in Eichhornia, roots are balancing roots. Irenchyma is not present in all the hydrophytes. It is also wrong because without Irenchyma, hydrophytes cannot survive. For example, hydrophytes are the best group of plants where Erenchyma is definitely present. Nymphea plant has contact only underwater soil. Underwater soil is wrong. It has contact with air, it has contact with soil, it has contact with water. Why? Because it is a plant with rooted nature and floating leaves. Rooted plants with floating leaves is the example of Nymphea. Tribulus is a drought evading xerophyte is wrong. Tribulus is not drought evading, it is drought avoiding. Xerophytes are divided into 3 categories. One is ephemerals, the other succulents, non-succulents. Ephemerals are short living. These are also called drought avoiders or drought escapers. Drought avoiders or drought escapers. For this, the example Tribulus comes. Succulents are called drought evaders. Drought evaders. Non-succulents are called true xerophytes. True xerophytes. So, ephemerals are drought avoiders or drought evaders or drought this one. So, Tribulus is a drought evading xerophyte is the correct statement. Remaining 3 are wrong. Only correct statement regarding here is Tribulus is drought evading. Drought evading is drought escaping or Tribulus. Then drought avoiding is succulents. They store water as mucilage and use it during unfavorable conditions. This is a matching column. Plant type modification. Pistia, free floating plant, rosette of leaves is correct. Ranunculus, amphibious plants, heterophily, presence of 2 different types of leaves in the same plant is correct. Trapa, suspended, peltate leaves. In Trapa, you don't find peltate leaves. What is a peltate leaf? A long petiole present on ventral side almost at the center is called peltate leaf. These peltate leaves are found in Nymphea and Nelumbium, not in Trapa. So, Trapa, suspended hydrophyte. Trapa is not a suspended hydrophyte, it is a free floating hydrophyte, and peltate leaves is wrong. So, Trapa combination of suspended and peltate leaves is wrong. Potamogeton, submerged plant, long and linear leaves is correct. So, Pistia, free floating plant, rosette of leaves is correct. Ranunculus, Sagittaria, Ranunculus, Limnophila are the 3 amphibious plants. So, Ranunculus, amphibious plant, heterophily is correct. Trapa, suspended plant, peltate leaves is wrong. Potamogeton, submerged plant, long and linear leaves is correct. So, the correct combination is 1, 2, 4. This is an assertion and reasoning question. Euphorbia is a stem succulent in which entire leaf is modified into a spine. It is correct. Euphorbia is a stem succulent where the leaf, total leaf is modified into a spine. Is assertion is correct. Why that assertion? The modification enable them to survive under xeric conditions. So stem succulents are storing water as mucilage to overcome xeric conditions. Leaf modified into spines or scales is other xerophytic character to overcome the reduce the rate of transpiration. The modification enable them to survive under xeric conditions is correct. So reason is the correct explanation of assertion. So A and R are correct. R is the correct explanation of A. Answer is 1 for this. This is a matching. Assemblage of all populations in an area. Biologically inhabited part of the earth. Ecology is the structure and function of nature. Interaction between biotic and abiotic components of nature is ecology. So this assemblage of all the populations in an area is A3, community. So answer comes 3, A3, B1, C5 and D2. A3 is assemblage of all populations of an area is called community, because assemblage of only similar species in an area is called population. Assemblage of many populations in one area is called community. Next, biologically inhabited part of the earth. Biologically inhabited part of the earth is called biosphere or ecosphere. Earth is regarded as a giant ecosphere. In this giant ecosphere, there is only some portion where life, biologically inhabited part is present. That is called biosphere or ecosphere. Ecology is the structure and function of nature is the statement given by Odom, a very famous ecologist, called ecology as the structure and function of nature. Interaction between the biotic and abiotic components of nature. Interaction between the biotic and abiotic components of nature is ecosystem. So assemblage of all populations in an area is community. Biologically inhabited part of the earth is biosphere. Ecology is the structure and function of nature, the statement given by Odom. And interaction between the biotic and abiotic components of nature is called ecosystem. So A3, B1, C5, D2 is the answer. So fourth question, answer is 3. Select the incorrect match. Salvia, free floating rootless pteridophyte. Wolffia, free floating rootless angiosperm. Ceratophyllum, submerged suspended rootless angiosperm. Pistia, free floating angiosperm with root pockets. Wolffia, free floating rootless angiosperm is correct. Ceratophyllum, submerged suspended rootless angiosperm is correct. Pistia, free floating angiosperm with root pockets. In Pistia and Eichhornia, root caps are replaced by root pockets. So Salvia, free floating rootless pteridophyte is wrong. Salvinia is free floating rootless pteridophyte. So incorrect match here is Salvia. Salvia is not a hydrophyte itself, and Salvia, free floating rootless pteridophyte, is wrong. It is not Salvia, it must be Salvinia. So fifth one, answer is 1. Coming to another assertion reasoning. Assertion: succulents are also called drought avoiding plants. It is true. Succulents are popularly called drought avoiding xerophytes because they store water as mucilage during favorable conditions, and this water is used in unfavorable conditions cautiously or sparingly. This is the correct statement. In Calotropis, the stored water is sparingly used during dry periods. Calotropis is not a drought avoiding xerophyte, it is a true xerophyte, real xerophyte with several modifications. It faced the xeric conditions. So succulents are also called drought avoiding xerophytes is correct. In Calotropis, the stored water is sparingly used in dry condition is wrong, because Calotropis is not a succulent plant, it is a true xerophyte or non-succulent plant. So A is correct, R is false. The scientist who for the first time described ecology as reciprocal relationship between plants and animals with their environment. Reciprocal relationship between plants and animals with their environment was given by Haeckel. So here 4 names are there. One is Odom. Just now we discussed about Odom. Structure and function of nature is ecology is the statement given by Odom. Other name is Ritter. Ritter coined the term ecology. He was the scientist who coined the term ecology. Then warming. Warming defined ecology is study of plants and animals in relation to their environment. So these are the statements given by different scientists. Odum, structure and function of nature. Reiter coined the term ecology. Warming, study of plants and animals in relation to their environment. So the scientists who for the first time described the ecology as reciprocal relationship between plants and animals with their environment is Haeckel. Study the following list and correct match. Ranunculus, Opuntia, Azolla, Utricularia, Pinus. Second answer. Ranunculus, 1 is A. Amphibious heterophilous hydrophyte. Opuntia, drought avoiding plant with succulent phyloclades. PHY, phyloclades. Opuntia, drought avoiding plant with drought avoiding means succulent, storing water as mucilage. Then Azolla, free floating vascular cryptogam. It is a pteridophyte. Free floating vascular cryptogam is the correct. Utricularia, submerged suspended insectivorous plant. Pinus, xerophyte with multiseriate sclerenchymatous hypodermis. Multiseriate means many layers. So answer is A, B, C, D, E. 1A, 2B, 3C, 4D, 5E. So Ranunculus, amphibious heterophilous hydrophyte. Opuntia, drought avoiding plant with succulent phyloclades. Azolla, free floating vascular cryptogam. Utricularia, submerged suspended insectivorous plant. Pinus, xerophyte with multiseriate sclerenchymatous hypodermis. This is the question of matching and answer is 2. Another 3-column question. Study the following table and correct combinations are name of the hydrophyte, type and special feature. Eichhornia, free floating hydrophyte, balancing roots. It is correct. Eichhornia, free floating hydrophyte, balancing root is correct. Sagittaria, rooted and submerged is wrong. It is amphibious, but heterophily is correct, but rooted and submerged is wrong. It is plant amphibious. Limnophila, amphibious, dissected submerged leaves. Limnophila, amphibious, dissected submerged leaves is correct. Nymphia, rooted with floating leaves, linear leaves. Nymphia is rooted with floating leaves is correct, but not linear leaves. They are very broad expanded leaves on which water is kept as water droplets. So answer here is A and C. Eichhornia, free floating hydrophyte with balancing roots is correct. Limnophila, amphibious hydrophyte with dissected submerged leaves is correct. So A and C is the correct answer. This is a assertion reasoning question. Salvinia is a free floating hydrophyte. In Salvinia, submerged leaves compensate roots. Salvinia is a free floating hydrophyte is true. Because in Salvinia, submerged leaves are compensating the roots, it is not a free floating. Because of some balancing roots and other things, it is free floating. So A is correct, R is correct, but R is not the correct explanation of A. So Salvinia is a free floating hydrophyte is correct. In Salvinia, submerged leaves are compensating roots because they are highly dissected and root-like structure is correct. But reason is not the correct explanation of A. So A and R are correct. R is not the correct explanation of A. Second option. In Calotropis, the rate of transpiration is considerably minimized by. Calotropis is a plant with leaves showing waxy coatings which glazes the light or reflects the light. Reduction of leaves into scales and spines is wrong. Calotropis shows very large leaves in opposite decussate phyllotaxy. Opposite decussate means the leaves, opposite leaves present in the successive nodes are right angles to each other. Opposite decussate phyllotaxy. Storage of water in the roots and leaves is wrong. In roots and leaves absolutely does not store water. Hiding of sunken stomata by folding and rolling the leaves is wrong. Folding and rolling the leaves is found in a xerophyte called Ammophila. So hiding of sunken stomata by folding and rolling of leaves is wrong. Reflecting the light and heat by shiny and glazed surface of the leaves is correct. So it always reflects the light and heat by shiny glazed leaf surface. So in Calotropis, the rate of transpiration is considerably minimized by reflecting light and heat by shiny glazed surface of leaves is correct. Reduction of leaves into scales and spines is wrong. Storage of water in the roots and leaves is wrong. Hiding of sunken stomata by folding and rolling the leaves is wrong. The only correct option here is reflecting the light and heat by shiny and glazed surface of leaves. Why? The leaf surface is surrounded by waxy coating which glazes the light. This is another matching. Ranunculus, Potamogeton, Limnophila, Vallisneria. Amphibious plant, submerged rooted hydrophyte, submerged suspended hydrophyte, amphibious plant and submerged rooted. A4, Ranunculus is an amphibious plant. B2, Potamogeton, submerged rooted hydrophyte. Submerged rooted hydrophyte. C1, Limnophila is again amphibious plant. Vallisneria, submerged rooted hydrophyte. Submerged rooted hydrophyte. No amphibious plant is here. Amphibious plants are there, but submerged rooted is one. Okay. So answer is 1. A4, B2, C1, D5. Assertion and reasoning. Assertion A. Xylem is relatively poorly developed in most of the hydrophytes is correct. So, xylem is relatively poorly developed in most of the hydrophytes is correct. In most hydrophyte, plant pots contain abundant water stored in parenchyma. It is wrong. Parenchyma does not store water, it stores gases. So, xylem is relatively poorly developed in most xerophytes is correct. In most xerophyte, plant pots contain abundant water stored in parenchyma is wrong. Parenchyma absolutely does not store water, it only helps in the storing gases. So, A is correct and R is false. This is another assertion reasoning question. In Vallisneria, pollination is hydrophilous. Definitely, Vallisneria is a dioecious plant. Separate male plant and female plant. In Vallisneria, male plant and female plant are present together. The male plant releases the flowers which float on water like small boats. They comes and touch the female flower. Anthers touch the stigma of the female flower, liberate the pollen grains. So, pollination occurs on the surface of the water. This is called epihydrophily. All hydrophytes are not hydrophilous. Most of them are pollinated by wind or insects. In Vallisneria, pollination is hydrophilous is correct. Really, in all hydrophytes, the flowers are not hydrophilous. Some flowers which are above the water level where stamens and stigmas are exposed, they can be pollinated by wind or insects. So, A is correct, R is correct. Because of all hydrophytes are not hydrophilous, most of them pollinated by wind and water is not the reason why Vallisneria pollination is hydrophilous. So, A and R are correct. R is not the correct explanation of A. Second option is the answer for this question. Another assertion reasoning. Reduction of supporting and mechanical tissues are character of hydrophytes. It is correct. In all hydrophytes, supporting tissues and mechanical tissues are very much reduced because they do not experience much stress and strain in water. Reason, hydrophytes are not generally subjected to stress and strain. Because hydrophytes are not generally subjected to stress and strain, in these plants the supporting and mechanical tissues are very much reduced. So, both A and R are correct. R is the correct explanation of A. First option for this answer. Modifications found in asparagus. Asparagus is a xerophyte. Asparagus is a xerophyte with root, stem and leaf modifications. Asparagus is a xerophyte with root, stem and leaf modification. Root becomes fasciculated roots, fasciculated tuberous roots. Stem becomes cladophyll. Leaves become scales or spines. So, all the three are modified in asparagus. It is a xerophyte with root, stem, leaf modifications. Roots are fasciculated roots, stem is cladophyll, leaves are modified into scales or spines. The question is, in asparagus, the modifications found in asparagus are cladophyll is correct, spine is wrong, spine is correct, phylloid is wrong, fasciculated roots is correct. So, 1, 2 and 4 are correct. Asparagus shows cladophyll where stem is modified into cladophyll. Asparagus shows spines or scales where leaves are modified into scales or scales. They show a bunch of tuberous roots popularly called fasciculated roots. So, modifications found in asparagus are cladophyll, spine, fasciculated roots. Phyllodes are not found in asparagus. So, answer is 1, 2 and 4, that is third option. Select the correct pair from the following. Eichhornia rhizome is wrong because Eichhornia shows offsets. Pistia Eichhornia shows offsets. Nilambo offsets is wrong. Nilambo shows rhizomes. Nilambo shows rhizome. So, Nilambo absolutely does not show offset, so it is wrong. Trapa bladdery roots. Trapa bladdery roots is wrong. Bladdery roots are found in Utricularia. Utricularia shows bladdery roots. So, Eichhornia rhizome is wrong. Nilambo offsets is wrong. Trapa bladdery roots is wrong. Sagittaria heterophyly is correct. Presence of two different types of leaves in Sagittaria is heterophyly. It is environmental heterophyly, that is because of the environmental conditions as they grow in water, they show heterophyly. So, the answer for this is Sagittaria heterophyly is the correct option. Hydrophyte with modified root, stem and leaves. This is another important bit. A hydrophyte with root, stem and leaf modifications is Eichhornia. Eichhornia. Why? Because in Eichhornia roots are modified into bunch of balancing roots. Stem is modified into special structures called offsets. Leaf is modified in such a manner that it shows spongy petioles. So, presence of roots into balancing roots, conversion of stem or stem showing offsets, leaves becoming spongy petioles or leaves containing spongy petioles show Eichhornia shows root, stem and leaf modification. So, hydrophyte with root, stem and leaf modification is Eichhornia, fourth option. Assertion and reasoning. Opuntia is a stem succulent with entire leaf is modified into spine. Opuntia is a stem succulent, correct. Because it is a stem succulent, the stem becomes broad expanded water storing special phylloclad. Here the entire leaf is modified into spine. Entire leaf, all the leaves of axillary bud, some become spine, some becomes barbs. That combination is called areole. So, in Opuntia speciality is, in Opuntia the special feature is all the leaves of axillary bud. All the leaves of axillary bud, some becomes hard pointed spine, some become soft barbs. Both are combinedly called areoles. So, a phylloclad with areoles is found in Opuntia. Phylloclad with areoles is found in Opuntia. So, Opuntia is a stem succulent in which entire leaf is modified into a spine is correct. The modification enable them to survive under xeric conditions is correct. These modifications, because they enable them to survive in xeric conditions, they show those modifications. So, both A and R are correct. R is the correct explanation of A, first option. This is another matching. Drought evader, true xerophyte, drought avoiding and drought escaper. Tribulus, Calotropis, Tribulus, asparagus, Calotropis. Second option. A3, drought evader is Tribulus. B4, true xerophyte is asparagus. Then C4, drought avoiding xerophyte is again asparagus because it stores water. And D1, drought escaper is again Tribulus. So, this is second option for this matching. Submerged rooted hydrophytes are submerged rooted hydrophytes are Hydrilla and Hydrilla vallisneria potamogeton, but Hydrilla comes under submerged suspended hydrophyte. So, answer is 2 and 3, vallisneria and potamogeton. Why? Because Hydrilla, even though poorly developed roots are present, it is a submerged suspended hydrophyte along with Utricularia and Ceratophyllum. So, submerged rooted hydrophytes are vallisneria and potamogeton. 2 and 3 is the answer. So, second option. Roots are completely absent in. Hydrilla shows poorly developed leaves. In any textbook it is given, and even in the plant also very poorly developed leaves are present. Hydrilla shows poorly developed leaves, but Salvinia and Ceratophyllum root system is completely absent. In both these plants, In Salvinia and Cerulophyllum, the submerged leaves are dissected to form root-like structures. Submerged leaves are dissected to form root-like structures. So, answer again 2 and 3, Salvinia and Ceratophyllum. Heterophyly is shown by Sagittaria, Potamogeton, Ranunculus are the options. Potamogeton is a submerged, suspended, I don't say submerged, rooted hydrophytes. Here the leaves are long and linear. The heterophily, presence of two different types of leaves on different nodes of the same plant, more than two different types of leaves on different nodes of the same plants is Sagittaria and Ranunculus. There are three plants with heterophilous condition, Limnophila, Sagittaria, Ranunculus. So, heterophily is shown by Sagittaria and Ranunculus 1 and 3, fourth option. Leaf succulents are Ciba, Agave, Bryophyllum. So, what is a succulent? It stores water as mucilage. In this, there are three categories: root succulents, stem succulents, leaf succulents. Root succulents are Ciba and Asparagus. Stem succulent is Opuntia. Leaf succulents is Aloe, Bryophyllum, Yucca and other plants. So, according to this question, leaf succulents are Agave and Bryophyllum. Ciba is a root succulent. So, Agave and Bryophyllum are leaf succulents. Leaf succulents means leaf stores water as mucilage and store this water during favorable condition and use the water during unfavorable conditions. So, answer is 2 and 3, Agave and Bryophyllum. Arrange the below given plants in the order of root succulent, stem succulent, leaf succulent and true xerophyte. So, root succulent here is Ciba. So, second option comes first. Stem succulent here is Opuntia. Fourth option comes next. Then leaf succulent is Agave. First option comes then, and true xerophyte is Ziziphus. So, arrange the below given plants in the order of root succulent, stem succulent, leaf succulent and true xerophyte is root succulent is Ciba parviflora. Stem succulent is Opuntia. Leaf succulent is Agave and a true xerophyte is Ziziphus. So, succulent plants are also called, they are xerophytic only externally but not internally, but true xerophytes are xerophytic both externally and internally. So, answer is 2, 4, 1, 3, that is Ciba parviflora root succulent, Opuntia stem succulent, Agave leaf succulent and a true xerophyte is Ziziphus. Arrange the following plants with gradual increase in the area of their root system. So, root system increasing day by day. Salvinia root system is completely absent, so comes first. Salvinia submerged leaves are dissected into root-like structure, they are not real root structure. Then poorly developed root system is found in Hydrilla comes next. So, 2, 3. Pistia shows balancing roots a little bit developed. Euphorbia shows a little bit developed leaves, little bit developed roots. So, first is Salvinia where root system is absent, submerged leaves are dissected to form roots. Next is Hydrilla, a submerged suspended hydrophyte with poorly developed roots. Next is Pistia, a bunch of balancing roots. Euphorbia where root system is extensively grown. So, 2, 3, 4, 1 will be the answer for this question, third option. Arrange the following plants in the order of their feature as rolled and folded leaves, developed root cortex to store water, phylloclads with spines and leathery glossy leaves. Ammophila is a plant where rolled and folded leaves are present. So, second option comes first. Next 3, Asparagus. Here the root cortex is storing water. Asparagus is a root succulent where root stores water. That means root cortex is modified to store water. Phylloclad with spines. Phylloclad with spines is Euphorbia. Euphorbia sometimes show phylloclad-like structures with spine. And leathery and glossy leaves is Calotropis where the light is glazed. So, answer is 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Arrange the following scientists in the order of their contributions as coining the term ecosystem, classification of plants into three communities, coining the term ecology, and defining ecology as the study of structures and function of nature. Previously I told, coining the term ecosystem is done by A.G. Tansley. So, fourth option. Coining the term ecosystem is done by A.G. Tansley. So, definitely fourth option. Then classification of plants into three communities is warming. So, second option. Classification of plants into three communities, hydrophytes, xerophytes, mesophytes, based on their relationship with water was done by warming. So, second option. Then coining the term ecology is Haeckel. Coining the term ecology comes under Odum. So, first it is not Odum, it is Haeckel. He almost coined the term ecology, and study of structure and functions of ecosystem is by Odum. So, answer is 4231, fourth option. Fourth option. This is a matching column. Match the following. List 1, Nymphia, Euphorbia, Asparagus, Vallisneria. List 2, Hydrophily, root succulent, ephemerals, spongy arils, spinous stipules. First option. A4, Nymphia, spongy arils. Nymphia is a plant which shows spongy arils, perisperm, rhizomes, submerged and rooted plant with floating leaves, and on the surface of the leaf waxy coatings are present, does not retain the water, and epistomatous condition. These many characters are found in Nymphia. Then Euphorbia, spinous stipules. In Euphorbia you may find spinous stipules. Then Asparagus. Asparagus is a root succulent. Vallisneria. Vallisneria shows hydrophily, epihydrophily on the surface of water. So, 4, 5, 2, 1 is the answer for this question. Nymphia, Euphorbia, Asparagus, Vallisneria. Nymphia is spongy aril. Euphorbia is spinous stipules. Asparagus is root succulent, and Vallisneria is hydrophily. Here Nymphia, Euphorbia, Asparagus, Vallisneria, there is no ephemeral. So, that answer will not come. So, third option will not come in the answer. This is another matching form. Tribulus, Calotropis, Nymphia, Eichhornia. Spongy petiole, mucilaginous petiole, ephemeral plant, true xerophyte, succulent xerophyte. Second option. A3, Tribulus is an ephemeral which completes its life cycle within 6 to 8 weeks, and it completes its life cycle in favorable conditions, and in unfavorable condition it faces the xeric in the form of seeds. So, Tribulus. Calotropis. Calotropis is true xerophyte. Calotropis is a real xerophyte, non-succulent. Nymphia. Nymphia is mucilaginous petioles. Nymphia shows petioles which stores water as mucilage. Then D, Eichhornia is one spongy petiole. Spongy petioles are found even in Eichhornia. So, Tribulus, Calotropis, Nymphia, Eichhornia. Answer is A3. Tribulus is ephemeral. B4, Calotropis is true xerophyte. C2, Nymphia shows mucilaginous petioles, and Eichhornia spongy petioles. Here there is no succulent xerophyte. Another matching. Ecosphere, ecosystem, plant communities, ecology. Warming, Ritter, Odum, giant ecosystem, Tansley. For this the answer is 2. A4, giant ecosystem. Ecosphere is, biosphere is nothing but earth. Giant ecosystem, where ecospheres are the places where life is habitating. Ecosystem, the term ecosystem was coined by A.G. Tansley. The term ecosystem was coined by A.G. Tansley. Plant community. Plant communities were divided into 3 groups by warming. So, plant community matching is warming. Ecology, the term ecology was coined by Ritter. So, ecosphere, giant ecosystem. Ecosystem, Tansley. Plant community is warming, and the term ecology by Ritter. So, these are the matching. Second option will be for this A4, B5, C1, D2. Tribulus completes its life cycle within 6 to 8 weeks. Ephemeral xerophytes mostly live in arid zones. Because the ephemeral xerophytes live in arid zones, they complete their life cycle in 6 to 8 weeks. So, xerophytes are broadly classified into 3 categories. Ephemerals, short-living plants. Succulents, storing water as mucilage and using them in unfavorable conditions. Non-succulents like this. Ephemerals, tribulus and solanum. Solanum xanthocarpum. This is also called Solanum surathines. Succulents, just now I told. Root succulents, Seba, asparagus. Stem succulent, Opuntia, euphorbia and some other plants. Leaf succulents, Bryophyllum, agave, yucca and other plants. Non-succulents are true xerophytes. These are called true xerophytes. Nerium, Calotropis, Ziziphus, Casuarina, all comes under true xerophytes because they face the xeric conditions directly with the help of various modifications. So, here the matching column or this question carries Tribulus completes its life cycle within 6 to 8 weeks. So, every ephemeral plant completes its life cycle within 6 to 8 weeks. Why? Because in favorable conditions they complete their life cycle, in unfavorable conditions they overcome those adverse climatic conditions in xeric conditions in seed like form. So, Tribulus completes its life cycle within 6 to 8 weeks is correct. Ephemeral xerophytes mostly live in arid zone is correct. Because they grow in arid zones, they are living 6 to 8 weeks. So, both A and R are correct. R is the correct explanation of A. Calotropis has deep root system. This is another assertion reasoning. Calotropis has deep root system is correct because it is a true xerophyte. It has to absorb water from deep layers of the soil. So, it has deep root system. Hydrophytes do not have well developed root system. Hydrophytes also do not have well developed root system, and because hydrophytes do not have well developed root system, Calotropis is not having deep root system. Calotropis is a xerophyte, hydrophytes is different. A is correct, R is correct, but R is not the correct explanation of A. Calotropis having deep root system is correct. Hydrophytes do not have well developed root system is correct. Because hydrophytes not having well developed root system, Calotropis do not have deep root system. So, A and R are correct. R is not the correct explanation of A, second option. Odum defined ecology as the study of structure and function of nature. Haeckel defined ecology as the study of close interrelationship between abiotic and biotic components in nature. Warming defined ecology as the study of plants and animals in relation to their environment. Odum defined ecology as the study of structure and function of nature. Organisms in relation to the environment is wrong. Animal with respect to environment is wrong. Plant with respect to environment is wrong. The answer is structure and function of nature is the statement given by Odum. This is a 3 column. Plant, type of hydrophyte, feature of the plant. Ceratophyllum, free floating hydrophytes, roots are absent. Ceratophyllum is not a free floating hydrophyte, it is a submerged suspended hydrophyte. Submerged suspended hydrophyte, so it is wrong. Wolffia, free floating hydrophyte, root pockets are present. Wolffia is a free floating hydrophyte, but root pockets are not present. Root pockets are present only in Pistia and Eichhornia. Pistia, free floating hydrophytes, root caps are absent. It is correct. Root caps are absent. Why root caps are absent? Because they are replaced by root pockets. Potamogeton, submerged hydrophyte, roots are present. Potamogeton is definitely a submerged hydrophyte, and in this plant roots are present because it is rooted at the base but floating under the water, not coming out of the water. So, Pistia free floating hydrophyte where root caps are absent. Potamogeton submerged hydrophyte where roots are present are the 2 correct options, 3 and 4. So, answer for 35th question is, or this question is 3. Another 3 column. Plant, type of hydrophyte, nature of stem. Nilambo, rooted hydrophyte with floating leaves, rhizome is correct. Nilambo is definitely a rooted hydrophyte with floating leaves. Long peltate petioles are present which makes the leaves to float on water. So, definitely it is showing an underground stem modification, rhizome. Azolla, free floating hydrophyte, horizontally placed. Azolla, free floating hydrophyte, horizontally placed is correct. It is horizontally placed stem. Azolla shows horizontally placed stem because of the presence of balancing something free floating hydrophytes with horizontally placed stem. Then Hydrilla, submerged suspended hydrophyte and a stem is a runner, wrong. Hydrilla is submerged suspended hydrophyte is correct, but the stem in Hydrilla is not runner. It is just a plant with hold phyllotaxy. All the leaves at each node they are present in a circlet which is called hold phyllotaxy. Cypress, Amphibious plant offset, it is wrong. Cyperus and typha. Cyperus and typha are xerophytes or something like hydrophytes present close to the vicinity of water, that means close to water, where water goes and occasionally touches them. The special feature of these plants is these plants can withstand some period of dryness. These plants can withstand some period of dryness. So, these plants easily withstand some period of dryness. So, Cyperus typha are two plants. These are hydrophytes growing near the water currents, where occasionally water comes and touches them. These plants can survive some period of dryness. So, 1 and 2 is answer, 3 and 4 is wrong. Another 3 column. Plant, type of hydrophyte, nature of morphology of leaf. Vallisneria submerged rooted plant, ribbon like leaves is correct. Vallisneria submerged rooted plant, ribbon like leaves is correct. Potamogeton submerged rootless plant, linear is wrong. It is not submerged rootless, it is submerged rooted. Then Sagittaria amphibious plant, heterophily is correct. Sagittaria amphibious plant, heterophily is correct. Eichhornia free floating plant is correct, but dissected leaves is wrong. So, answer is 1 and 3. 2 and 4 are wrong, 1 and 3 is correct. Third option. Now, again coming to another 3 column tabular form. Potamogeton, Nymphea, Hydrilla, Victoria rhizia. Submerged plant, rooted hydrophyte with floating leaves. Rooted submerged hydrophyte and amphibious plant. Stomata are non-functional, epistomatous condition. Absence of stomata, amphistomatous condition. Potamogeton submerged plant, stomata are non-functional is correct. Nymphea, rooted hydrophyte with floating leaves, epistomatous condition is correct. Hydrilla, rooted submerged hydrophyte, absence of stomata is wrong. Rooted submerged hydrophyte, this is not rooted, it is just submerged suspended hydrophyte with poorly developed roots. Victoria rhizia amphibious plant, amphistomatous condition. Victoria rhizia is not amphibious plant. Victoria rhizia is a rooted hydrophyte with floating leaves, and special point about this plant is it has the largest leaves of plant kingdom. Largest leaves of plant kingdom are found in Victoria rhizia. Amphistomatous condition can be observed, but it is not an amphibious plant. It is a rooted plant with floating leaves. So, answer is 1 and 2 are correct. 3 and 4 are wrong. Another 3 column matching. Plant, type of xerophyte, succulent organ. Allo, drought avoiding xerophyte, leaf is the succulent organ, correct. Drought avoiding because it stores water as mucilage and use it in the unfavorable conditions. Casuarina, true xerophyte, stem. In Casuarina, stem is not a succulent, it is a long needle like stem. Euphorbia, drought avoiding, Tirukali, stem. It is correct. Euphorbia Tirukali, drought avoiding and stem modified. Ziziphus is not an ephemeral, it is a true xerophyte. Root is wrong.